Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Fine Program. I am your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Lawgic, which has 5. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I plead the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days left. 5 voting days left. Woo! Woo, boy. Woo, whoa, Nelly. Whoa, Nelly. Oh my. And it's almost like you can't even believe. I can't even believe if I talk about like how I feel about this election, I'm going to get people to be mad at me, yelling at me. Joe, what's wrong with you, Joe? Don't jinx it, Joe. Stop talking, Joe. Shut your freaking mouth, Joe. That's what I'm gonna get. That's what everyone's gonna be so mad at me. They're gonna be so mad at me. Some people are gonna be so mad. It's there's a certain the icing on the cake, really, I'm not going to kid you. The icing on the cake is it's so validating. It's so validating because I was like, I don't know, I'm going through all the computations here, and I'm envisioning that this could be like a thing, you know, like when you're trying to get into it's like a combination of like, you know, everyone says that if you want to invest in something, what do you buy? You buy land. And then like, you know, you want to get from this base to the next base, and there's a tag coming down. So what do? Slide. I don't want to say the word. I called that. I said, I don't know. I'm looking at everything here. I know I could be tilted because I have slight Trump leanings, mild Trump leanings. So I was like, maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe this is like, I cannot believe how the left is falling on its face. I mean, on its face. It's just like a splat. It's like there's like an audible splat that's just resonating, an audible splat. This is what we've had. Have you thought about what we've had this week? Have you even thought about what we've had this week? Okay. This is what we've had this week. I mean, you talk about like it's like the entire world is like a PR machine for MAGA right now. It's a freaking PR machine for MAGA. Byron Donalds didn't call it a PR machine. I'll call it a PR machine. But as he put it, 3 days after Tim Walz called half of America Nazis, he called us all Nazis. Great for MAGA. 2 days after Joe Biden called half of America garbage, you garbage. Today, top Kamala surrogate Mark Cuban called Republican women weak and unintelligent. We want to divide America. We want to unite America. 5 days, we'll make America great again. Vote Trump Vans. Here's the little quote there. It's just a quick little thing from from Mark Cuban. Just a quick little thing, but the tell is there. Here we go. Give it to us, Mark, on The View. On The View. I didn't even realize that he said this on The View until I just pulled this up now.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever.
He's talking to a whole bunch of strong, intelligent women. Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple. Donald Trump, you never see him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you go along with that Whoopi. You go along with that Joy Behar. You go along with that Sunny Hostin, Anna, and pretty former Republican of the day. Whoever's the fifth one on your show. So they always have like, okay, we got these four weird looking chicks, and the fifth one is going to be the pretty former Republican. Pathetic. They're also I wonder what the former Republicans said. Yeah, never. You go, Mark. You go, Mark. You go, Mark Cuban. It's your birthday. Well, apparently, as women are apt to do, and in this case, certainly should, the MAGA women have come out today in force. They mad. Big time mad. Big time mad. As they should be. It's such a misogynistic. Can you imagine? This is so much worse than binders full of women. Now, I understand he's not the presidential candidate the way Mitt Romney was. But it's like no strong, intelligent women ever around Trump. All right, let's ask this woman here. Alina Habba, Trump attorney.
I just got off a plane, so
we have to make that a little louder for you all because you all going to want to hear her, as we should. Strong, intelligent woman, Alina Habba.
Pardon my delay in responding to Mark Cuban's disgusting misogynistic remarks. Some reservos. Michael Cohen on 3 levels, just confirmed and denied by the Supreme Court of the United States. I'm licensed in 4 states. I graduated college in 3 years. Savage v. Trump. By the way, I could keep going, but those are the cases I win. And your left-wing media and your rhetoric, and you're putting women down. See, President Trump doesn't do that. He surrounds himself with strong women like me.
It doesn't. They love portraying him as if he hates women. Oh, totally disrespects women.
So, Mark Cuban, you can go to hell. I'm voting for Trump because I want my daughter to never, ever be around people that speak like you do.
Dang, Alina. Go get him, Alina. That's just the start. I got how many more women here? We're gonna be hearing from a whole bunch of women tonight. A whole bunch of women. I did put up I'm supposed to mention my goal. Did the goal go up? It is up there. Yeah, I put up there. If I get $20 ones, I'm experimenting. It's an experiment, but I will do. Oh my! I didn't want to hear that. That wasn't what I was looking for. How did I clear that? Damn it! Oh, I know what that is. That was my thing playing in the background from when I opened the show. Yeah, so I put up 30. That if I get $20 ones, I will do a 12-hour stream on election day. 12 hours. 12 hours. Probably from like 2 to 2. That's what I'll do on election day if I manage to get that tonight. I don't expect it, but end of the month, Halloween. Happy Halloween, y'all. Happy Halloween. All Hallows Eve. So, yeah, if that does happen, I will do that. We're going to be hearing from a lot of women tonight. I'm also going to be covering Trump v. CBS, and we're going to talk about the legitimacy of that. I haven't looked at the complaint in detail yet when we're looking at that with you. Although, frankly, I was thinking about holding it off until I might put that in reserve. Because I'm doing a locals after show as well after I finish up over here. And I have, seriously, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've got 15 different. I'm starting to categorize now because I'm like, why am I doing this the way I'm doing it? I literally have like one window with 15 tabs. That's on my funny stuff. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17 interesting topics that I wanted to talk about with you. 17 freaking interesting topics. That doesn't even cover Trump v. CBS. And then I've got like a dozen women testimonials basically blasting Mark Cuban. So I got a lot to cover tonight. There's a lot to cover. And you're going to want to catch all of it. So buckle up, get comfortable. We're going to start off by hearing from a lot of women. I'm probably going to cover some stories. Maybe I'll sprinkle in a couple of the funnies. And I might save Trump v. CBS for part of my Locals After Show. Right now, the Locals After Show is scheduled to be, upon request by a vote yesterday from you guys, that I'm going to explain to you the history of Jews and socialism, Jews and also communism, which is the concept of socialism / communism historically. And it also ties into a perspective on the Holocaust that you probably never heard. A Jewish perspective on the Holocaust that you have never heard. You've never heard a Jewish perspective on the Holocaust, which you wouldn't think so, but it actually ties into the history of Jews and socialism. But this is something you haven't heard that I think is probably going to capture. It's probably be some stuff in there that you remember. That doesn't really tie in very well to Trump v. CBS. I just feel as if I don't know if I have enough time for Trump v. CBS tonight because I'm supposed to be starting that show in like an hour and a half or so. I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, it's the end of the month. I'm trying to fill my coffers because I had to miss because of the Jewish holidays. I missed a lot of time. So that's why I got these little goals up there. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But first and foremost, we have K. Vel hitting me with 10. Count them. Oh, yeah, that's right. 10 good Lawgic memberships. Give him the bell. Bring him on in here. Who'd you bring us? Look at this. John Gordon, Matt V, Mona L. Welcome to the following, Ken Phillips. Welcome to the following, John Mosley. Welcome to the following, Scarlett, Bluntly, Wendy, Spider King, and maybe Sunshine. All you welcome to following. The following is what we call people who join the channel here because the show's called The Following Program. We call them followers. You join the following. Now, and just put it out of context, a lot of people mistakenly seem to assume, for one reason or another, that it's a cult. But that's why I'm here to reassure you, it's not at all a cult type of cult. There's, and I prove it because there's no Kool-Aid. There's no tracksuits that are mandatory, mild farm work, no goat sacrifices, no squirrel mutilations, no forced stabbing with the jabby jabs. It's in no way, shape, or form is it a cult type of cult. It's just about community, unity, leadership training, and that's what it is. And it's all geared towards greater personal growth. So welcome to following, you guys. We got cookies. we do have cookies. Allegan says Trump does not surround himself with ugly women. It's not his fault the left is full and blue and purple hair does not look good. No, it does not. Honeybee says, I'll spy you 20, raise another 20 for a 20-hour stream since the election will carry over into the next day. I don't think I'm doing a 20-hour stream. I don't think so. I am hoping to get me a dark MAGA hat soon, as soon as it gets here. Let's see a bunch of you commenting on my MAGA hat. I'm very amped. Hit the like if you're a true, not a cult follower and love viewers' discretion. Well, thank you so much. As a following and viewers' discretion on the weekends. That's right. I'm not going to be streaming, obviously, tomorrow night, Friday night. I don't stream Friday nights, but I do plan on being here on Saturday night. And yeah, stuff is going to happen. Let's get back into some of them testimonials there that we had from different women, because I want to hear from people like Alina Habba and others who are not too happy. One of them is over here. I'm telling you right now, when I see this woman, there's only one word that pops my mind every single time, and that's Christopher. But Christopher. Drea De Matteo. Christopher.
I don't really know who Mark Cuban is, and I don't really give a shit. But I am interested in what his definition of strength and intelligence is when it comes to women, because he seems to be an authority on that subject. And he says there's no strong, intelligent
What happened?
women surrounding Trump. Guess you haven't met me yet, buddy, huh? Because it takes a lot of balls to come out and support the anti-war machine, and you know it. Everyone else is pandering on the left. In my little Hollywood world, everybody over there is following that great sheep narrative.
Brave and strong.
Forward. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, all of my left behind liberal friends, I'm still a lifelong liberal. Go research it. Understand what's happening on the left. And if you want to attack our intelligence and say that we aren't smart enough because we follow Donald Trump, maybe you need to recognize that some of us did our research.
Oh,
and that's why we left.
There you go.
Why we're not sitting. All these hippies are moving over and supporting Trump. That's right. I'm wearing a MAGA hat. That means make America great again. What is so toxic about making anything great? How nihilistic
especially
has
your own
society
country
become that you will listen to the people on the left trying to lead you into complete war and destruction and darkness, and you want to attack our intellect because we're supporting the sunshine and freedom and love?
Tell them.
Shame on you. I don't know who you are, buddy, but you are not thinking about my children when you make comments like that. And don't talk about the moms of America supporting Trump, because we know what's up.
We know what's up. What up?
I'm Drea De Matteo. I support Donald Trump like my life depends on it.
Nice.
And my kids' lives.
There you go.
Big Daddy T, 2024.
Let's
T. Go.
Let's go. Liz, Joe, just want to say hi to Miss Lawgic. You got a good man, my dear. We love him. Oh, thank you so much, Liz. You're too kind. That's right. Very, very kind of you. I'm the blessed one in that relationship there. So, but let's move along. I got a whole bunch of women we got to hear from. This over here is Catalina Lauf. I'm not sure who she is, to be honest with you, but apparently, Mark Cuban doesn't think that this is a strong, intelligent woman.
This is incredibly disrespectful coming from someone, especially like you, Mark, who a lot of American women out there really respected you. A while ago, my sister and I were asked to audition on Shark Tank because of our startup. We grew up watching the show. So when we thought that we would have the opportunity to be on Shark Tank and around an investor like you, we were completely like, that was our American dream. We grew up in really humble beginnings. Our grandmother picked coffee beans in Central America. We grew up with a small business owner father, a legal immigrant family, and even having the opportunity to having gotten our company to a point where we even had the chance to audition for Shark Tank, let alone like possibly pitch our company to the Mark Cuban, who we absolutely admired growing up watching Shark Tank. And like here we could have been in the same room and possibly ask for investment to us, like in our family, who was so proud of us. We were so proud that we even got to that point. But now I realize why they say never meet your heroes, because
Yep. There you go. See, an intelligent comment. That's why they say never meet your heroes. See, intelligence is when you take things you've learned in the past and apply it to moments in the present. That's a mark of intelligence. There you go.
This is who Mark Cuban clearly is. To hear what you said about hardworking entrepreneurs who come from families of immigrants who literally came with nothing in their pocket and pursued the American dream. Like clearly we were smart enough to be in the running for a Shark Tank episode. So to say that Trump does not surround himself around strong and smart women is so disrespectful, all for politics. You say that women like us aren't smart, Mark, yet somehow we were smart enough to be asked to audition on Shark Tank because of the idea that we had and the startup that we built
big time mad.
From the kitchen table that is now worth multiple millions of dollars. Okay, got it, Mark. We're not the smart ones. And the fact that, our family legally came to the United States with absolutely nothing in their pockets from Latin America. And here, and just one generation later, we had the opportunity to audition for Shark Tank. To us and our family, that mattered. And
you can tell that it's not just that the statement bothered her, but very obviously the source of the statement. This is someone who liked and respected, clearly deeply respected Mark Cuban. I mean, she's going on and on. She's going back to their Shark Tank appearance as like a significant moment in their lives, and what a big deal it was to them to be able to make that presentation to Mark Cuban and the other sharks. And you could see that she's really bothered. She's really feels personally offended by this whole thing. I wonder what part are you referring to, Aquamarine, when you say that a few moments ago you wonder if JD Vance and his team were watching my streams. I take that as a big compliment because that guy's wicked smart. He's wicked smart. So I take that as a very, very big compliment. Thank you. Honeybee says, definitely not a cult. We are definitely the good Lawgic sect. P.S. Joe, we had 2 tractor trailers of grape Kool-Aid. It's not at all. Not at all. Not at all a cult. Hey, Kool-Aid. Hey. Not at all a cult. I'm gonna move on to the next woman here because I got a whole bunch. What was this one? Oh, this one is not actually a woman. This is a guy who made a point about who's another member of the MAGA women who Mark Cuban was defining as being not smart and not strong and intelligent. And this is kind of funny.
All right, as you all know at this point, Mark Cuban said that he's never seen strong, intelligent women around Donald Trump. Now, I want to enter into the evidence, Exhibit A. This is Mary Madelson.
Mary Madelson. I didn't know who she was. Do you know who she is? You're about to learn. Mary Madelson hanging out there with Donald Trump.
Mary Madelson is she is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks.
Oops! The owner of the Dallas Mavericks, as in Mark Cuban is a minority owner, she's a majority owner of the Dallas Mavericks. Uh-oh.
She is a huge supporter of Donald Trump. In fact, she's given about $95 million so far in this election cycle. Oh, look, all these pictures of her with Donald Trump. They seem to be hanging out, pretty close. So Mark, who is a minority owner, 27% of the Dallas Mavericks, she let him stick around just so he could go to the games and look important. She's sort of your boss, dude. So strong, intelligent woman that supports Trump and is around Trump, and you literally just threw her under the bus. You are a dumb piece of shit, dude. Might want to rethink that one, Mark. All right.
Good catch there. Good catch there. Like it. Love it. Let's check out Sarah Huckabee. She's also former press speaker, current governor of Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee. Obviously not a strong, intelligent woman, according to Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban just said there are no strong, intelligent women around President Trump. It's a disgusting lie. And it's pretty funny coming from Democrats who can't even tell you what a woman is.
Good catch there. Good point. Good point. After this, I'm going to show you who the Democrats think is a strong, intelligent woman.
I worked for President Trump for 2.5 years. Democrats tried to tear me down. President Trump empowered me and every other woman in America. My name is Sarah Sanders, and I'm proud to join the millions of smart, intelligent women who will stand with Donald Trump this Tuesday. Mark.
There you go. There you go. She makes a great point there from the party that can't define what a woman is. Pretty sad. pretty sad. But I wanted to show you who they think is a strong, intelligent woman. Did I put it here? Which one did I put it on there? Yeah, I put it. Where was it? I know it was in the funny section. No, I put it in my other window. It was like borderline funny versus interesting. There it is. There you are. You want to know who the left thinks is a strong, intelligent woman? Right here. Right here is the left's version of a strong, intelligent woman.
Get the fuck out of my face now!
Ooh, that was very rude of you.
Get the fuck out of
Look how strong. Look how strong. Very strong.
my face!
You want to go to jail?
There's a strong, intelligent woman right there.
Sir, ma'am, I don't really know what to call you.
You're fucking done, man.
I'm
You want me to
done.
get the fucking police, you just insulted me.
Well, listen here, pal. I mean,
See, a strong, intelligent woman from the left is someone who is an ex-wife who's had bags of Jello attached to his chest, and knows how to say, "Get the F away from me! I'm going to the police."
you are going to go to jail.
And I could fucking tell the police to get you.
I'm vegan,
Strong, intelligent woman.
so don't say that. Listen.
Told me, man, you really get the fuck out of my way right now.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
You do not have a release. I will sue you.
If you're going to sue him, don't sue him, man, because we're trying to just...
You do not have a release. If you fucking post this, I will destroy you. I will destroy you.
Like every strong, intelligent woman right there.
Keep going on. I got my crew with me now. I got my crew. Yeah! Yeah! What's up? Woo! Who won? Who's next?
Look, you see, this is MAGA. This is MAGA terrorizing strong, intelligent women. Strong, intelligent women. Let's go back to more examples of what the right would consider a strong, intelligent woman. Maybe not according to Mark Cuban, but this is what we consider strong, intelligent women. This here is the famous Riley Gaines.
All right, let's just unpack this really quick. Just in the past week alone, Trump supporters have been called Nazis by virtually every media outlet. We have been called garbage by the sitting United States president. And now Mark Cuban has come out and said there is no such thing as a strong, intelligent female supporter of Donald Trump because they don't exist. Respectfully, Mark Cuban, you would not know a strong, intelligent female if she slapped you across the face, which you're such a beta, you might actually kind of like that. So if you are a healthcare provider, if you are a school teacher, if you are a U.S. military member and you are a woman and a Trump supporter, then to Mark Cuban, you are stupid and weak. If this woman right here, Tulsi Gabbard, a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army, if this is not a strong, intelligent woman, then what is? Actually, I already know Mark Cuban's answer. This is who Mark Cuban believes to be a strong, intelligent woman. Although we really shouldn't be too surprised that a comment like this would come out of Mark Cuban's mouth, considering that he says border czar Harris has done a good job at the southern border, which maybe we just have different ideas of what constitutes as a good job. But to me, the illegal entrance of 13,000 murderers, 16,000 rapists, and the 320,000 missing children certainly doesn't fit the bill. It doesn't seem like continually disparaging more than half the country less than a week before election day is an effective strategy to get your candidate elected. But what?
It's disaster. It's an implosion. It's falling apart. Pinochet's helicopter sent a rant here saying, Joe, can you check out the ex-post made by Jeff Clark? It's a 12-minute video of his appearance with Bannon. It's very concerning. It takes a lot to cause me concern. Something wicked this way comes. Jeff Clark, 12 minutes. 12 minutes? 12 minutes? I don't know. That's a long time. Listen. Should we hear from Gunnery Sergeant? It's 2.5 minutes, but here's Gunnery Sergeant. We'll do little excerpts here of some of the other women because.
Hey, Mark, are you saying that I am not strong or intelligent? I was selected by President Trump to be the executive director of Veterans for Trump, the largest coalition in the 2024 campaign. I served 20 years in the United States Marine Corps on active duty and retired the rank of gunnery sergeant. Are you saying I'm not strong or intelligent? You don't have to look much further. Go back to 1980 to see the record the president has with selecting strong and intelligent women. He selected a 31-year-old woman to lead the largest construction site in New York City at that time, the first woman, I should say, to lead. And it was Barbara Rez, and it became the Trump Tower. She went on to work for President Trump for 18 years. And what about the 2016 campaign that was led by a strong and intelligent woman? He went on to win the White House. It was the first time a presidential campaign had been won by a woman that won the White House. So
I believe there she's referring to our next candidate here, Kellyanne Conway.
With a special message for Mark Cuban and all the other misogynists that support Kamala Harris and love to spew hateful, divisive, sexist rhetoric.
Go, girl.
Recognize this place? This is the Ellipse, where presently a strong, intelligent woman is speaking without a teleprompter. Recognize that place? That's the White House. Your handpicked candidate, Hillary Clinton, lived there as wife of a president, but not as the president. Donald J. Trump beat her, in part because he is unafraid to surround himself with strong, intelligent, capable men and women. Whether it's Joe Biden calling us garbage or Mark Cuban denying our strength and intelligence, I'm here to stand up and speak up for the tens of millions of strong, intelligent women who November 5th will vote for peace, prosperity, security, safety, fairness. Thank you, and God bless you.
There you go, Kelly. There you go. And the last one I'm going to do here is Elise Stefanik. Also not a big fan of the comments today from Mark Cuban. Pretty short one here.
Just one day after Joe Biden smeared 250 million Americans as garbage, now Mark Cuban, Kamala Harris's top ally, says no strong and intelligent women support Trump. It's a disgrace, and Kamala Harris stays silent. She must be defeated in 5 days to save America. I'm proud to be the highest ranking woman in the United States Congress. When I ran, I was the youngest woman ever elected. I'm the most senior woman on the House Armed Services Committee, the House Intelligence Committee, and I proudly am voting and endorse President Trump. Save America in 5 days. Vote Trump.
Every one of the women we just saw are far stronger and more intelligent than the candidate he's supporting. Far stronger and far more intelligent than airheaded Kamala Harris. There are plenty of strong, intelligent women. Sadly, well, logically, actually, I should say, very few of them are on the left. He talked several topics I only saw here in detail. Oh, you're talking about J.D. Vance. Right. Thank you. Mary Mandelson obviously took the Mavs and his balls. Nice. PBD showed the Trump broker Cuban by crapping on his one season lasting show. His one season lasting show in a letter from 2004. I shared that clip from PBD the other day. Wealth intoxicates the ego, I guess. So I actually heard, what's his name? Colin Cowherd, many years ago. It's at least 15 years ago, make an insightful comment about money. That money tends to be an amplifier of the personality you have before you obtain money. a good person becomes better, a bad person becomes worse. And I think that's a fair assessment. It puts your personality on steroids, because now you're unchecked. All of us live within the limitation of the fact that we have limited means. Someone who manages to attain virtually unlimited means, whether that virtuality is, you're talking tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or billions, whatever it is. But when you see these athletes who get vast sums of wealth, the ones who have good breeding and have good character tend to use that wealth to benefit others and create charities and things of that nature. Others use it for a doom cycle, a spiral into, Aaron Hernandez type of just terribleness. Now, those are extreme examples I'm giving there, but you can see he was talking obviously about athletes because Colin Cowherd is a sports analyst, but I think that's true with all people when it comes to money. I think it's an insightful point that money is an amplifier of your personality, because you're free to express yourself as you already feel inclined to express yourself. It doesn't change you into something. It just makes it easier if you manifest who you are. Although red is Torah taboo, the hat looks good. Well, thank you. That's not Torah taboo. It's not Torah taboo. We don't put women in red dresses because it's ostentatious and we don't want to call attention. Women don't want to call attention. Jewish women don't call attention to themselves, or at least ideally not supposed to dress in a way that's calling attention to themselves. So that's why they tend to shun red. And yeah, I guess men don't wear red very often. Well, okay, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, moving along. I'm going to do a few of the funny. Let me do a few of the funny. One or two of them, and then we'll move on to some of the stories that I wanted to break down for you. And I'm torn about whether or not we'll see how these stories go. We'll see how long they are, because most of them are pretty short. We'll see how they go and whether or not I'm going to do Trump v. CBS here or on Locals. After the show, I'm going to be doing Locals, goodlogic.locals.com. It's an after show party, which it's scheduled to start 12:30, but frankly, I'll start. It may be pushed back if the show runs a little long. We'll see. All right. Where was my funny window? Let me do that. This was Trump at the rally yesterday? 2 nights ago. I don't know, I'm losing track of days. But when he was wearing his garbage vest, this is great.
So I said, man, if I don't get up there, this is going to be very embarrassing.
This is him describing getting into the truck. Getting into the garbage truck. He's so real. He's so real. He's talking to tens of thousands of people, and he's just very, very real.
So I said, man, if I don't get up there, this is going to be very embarrassing. These stupid people, they'll say, he's cognitively and physically impaired. And I can't do that when I'm alongside of this great athlete. I got to get up to that. So look, the first stair is like up here. I'm saying, shit. So I had the adrenaline going and I made it.
It is really high. It is really high, that first step. For like a 78-year-old man.
I made it. So
that is so great. He's like,
here. I'm saying, shit.
This guy has so much personality. I love him. Oh my God. I can't wait for him to win. I thought that was really funny. Let me share. That one's definitely for later. All right. This is how badly how bad the left campaign, the Kamala's campaign is. This is a disaster. This is a disaster. And it's funny. It's funny. A call amongst the Avengers. A call amongst the Avengers, which was obviously scripted. And I think they're trying to make a goof on themselves. So it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
They're all queer. And frankly, in this phone call, in this video call, every one of them looks like they have some sort of weird disease. And I'm gonna try and identify for you the weird disease that each of them are exhibiting. Some uncommon disease. And look, anyone who's actually, I'm not making fun of people who are actually suffering with any disease, because God knows that's never a laughing matter. But it's like they all look terrible. I mean, terrible here. You'll see. This one's alopecia.
Hey,
Scarlett.
Jumping on the call.
Whoa. I think you mean us.
He looks serious. I've seen HIV people who this is, as soon as I saw this, I was thinking that's HIV. He looks like he's ready to star in the Netflix remake of Philadelphia.
Assembling. I said assembling. Don, that's
I don't know. On this one, I was picturing Parkinson's. He looks so bad.
it's pretty good. No, that was funny.
Scarlett, it is our pleasure
She looks healthy.
to come together and to get the vote out this election.
They're all so amped. Amped. Hollywood is amped for Kamala.
Yeah, how can we be of service?
I don't know what that guy is. He does not look good. I don't know who he is even. I'm sure you all know who he is. I don't know who that is. I'm not a big Marvel fan. I said it.
How can we be of service?
How about we start with what our voting plans are?
This guy is Mark Ruffalo, I know, this guy's crazy leftist loon.
Going to be, who we're going to bring to the polls with us, that sort of thing.
I think Kamala Harris needs a catchphrase.
Ooh, yes, definitely a catchphrase.
How about this? I'm just off the top of my head. I can do this all day.
Shut
That's what she said.
up. I hate it.
Okay.
I mean, it's original, but
What about something punchier like, oh, boom. You looking for this? Iron Man 2, everybody loved it.
okay, again, I think we're just trying to get out the vote.
Kamala forever.
That's better.
Okay, how about I'm down with democracy? It's just clean, it's simple.
Okay, I like that.
It's hard to
I'm down with democracy. All right.
argue with that.
Kamala Harris down with democracy.
Oh, yeah.
It's so befitting. Down with democracy. That's how she gets into office. The fascist gets into office with down with democracy.
Yeah, I'm Kamala Harris, and I say down with democracy.
I don't know if that sounds the way we want it to sound, though.
I think we just need, can we get some production though?
Jarvis?
My name's not Jarvis, but whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. Down with democracy.
Down with democracy.
And that is what they're actually standing up for. It's like they're trying to make a joke about it, but the joke is that it's really what they're actually saying.
Is that what we mean, though?
Yeah, together we're going
It is what you mean, though. That's the problem. It is what you mean.
to tear down democracy.
Will you stop playing heroic music under yourselves?
I'm Kamala Harris, and I am down with democracy.
Yeah, she's down with democracy. That's what she is. My God, they're so bad at this. How can you be this bad at something? How can you be this bad with something? Oh my God, this is what you're supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to be specialists at.
Did I sound enough like her on that one?
That was great. How many Golden Globes have you been nominated for? I'm just curious.
I didn't realize there was more. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes. All right, that was awesome.
Unbelievable. Sorry, I didn't mean to miss out on some of the best parts of that. Wow. How can you be that bad? How? How can you be that bad? How can anyone be that bad? I don't understand. I don't understand anything about this. I don't get it. I don't get it. I still don't know why my counter is not working. My counter is not working. It's very frustrating. But all right. That's what I was saying. They all look terrible. The black woman looked okay. She looks okay. The rest of them look like crap. They look like awful. Well, that was the one I wanted. We'll do one more. One more. This is the best. This is the best version. I did a Trump round with you guys the other night, but this is the best. This is the best edit I think that I've seen yet.
Back me up, go all in. By Joe Biden, I got.
Let me a little louder. Drop louder.
To win, save the country from. Back me up, go all in. By Joe Biden, I gotta win, save the country from sin. I won't never slack up, get your money back up. Try and cuss my voter and you're bound to get smacked up. Get up, stand up, throw your MAGA hats up. If you got
good
the
video
feeling,
editing.
Kamala's unappealing. Trump's got the hot flow, Dems are talking junk though. I got shot in my ear, certify me as the GOAT, yo. Working, chat to peeps in the cars, have me serve more fries than lies from the voters are. DJ T, enough in the lead, and if great switch of on, I'm the prezi you need. Kamala's a clown, Kamala's a clown, so get out and vote, keep Trump around. Jump around.
Trump around.
Jump
With
around.
Elon jumping.
Jump around. Jumps up, Kamala's going down. I'm the cream of the crop. I rise when I'm shot. Some started from the bottom, but I've always been on top. Painting me as a dictator, some type of super trader. I think you need some loving because you sounded like a hater. But I ain't going down like no punk foo. Clean up the house, Joe, moving in back soon. Kamala's a clown. Kamala's a clown. So get out and vote, you jump around. Jump around.
That's a really good ad. The video there matching the lyrics exceptionally well. I think they're gonna have a hard time topping that one. I'm not gonna kid you. That one was really good. That one was pretty good. All right. I want to talk to you about Virginia. Let me get to some super chats, and then I'll take care of that. Will you be joining the channels on election night like Eric Hunley? I am happy right here. Will I be joining my channel with other channels? Maybe. Maybe I'll do that. But I'm going to be hosting right here. I might merge over a little bit. We've tried doing that a little bit. We'll see. I'm going to see what happens. We'll see. I haven't spoken to anyone about it. Tomorrow I'm probably going to be on Eric Hunley and that usually backstage is an opportunity for us to try to sort that sort of thing out. From women today dressed like nuns, all black and white. That's kind of true. If he loses, do you think the right will snap? No. I mean, I'm not talking about that now. I'm not even talking about that now. Black military birth control glasses back in style means you're woke. I don't understand what that is. I mean, I know what it is. I don't understand why it is that they're all wearing them. I guess maybe it is a sign. I'm just glad they didn't. It's like a little close to these. Unfortunately, they go all the way around with theirs. Ozempic, narcissism, groupthink, heroin addicts. That's what they're all suffering from? Maybe. Counter is working, but 30 orange as goal is too high. Maybe green. No, it's okay. That's all right. We'll see. I have to explore different options. I've been testing it out. They only came out with it this week. So I'm testing different options. I think that was self-deprecating. RDJ. It was supposed to be self-deprecating, but it's especially when that's the thing that the right is always saying, to just give that thought. You don't self-deprecate in a way that you're already being attacked for legitimately being. You know what I'm saying? In other words, I mean, what are they going to do next? They're going to call Trump a baby and then say, kill the baby? Kill the baby? Is that what they're going to do next? Kill the baby? Is that what they're going to do next? Kill the baby? Vote Kamala, kill the baby? It's so stupid. It's like, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. All right. I want to talk to you about Virginia. Because this I thought was really interesting.
The Harris campaign.
This is a 2-minute video which is talking about why it is that you should start becoming very excited about the prospect of a Trump win in Virginia. I referenced the other day, by the way, that I spoke 3 years ago with a guy who's on the ground. He's part of the Virginia GOP, and he was telling me how terrible their ground game was. And the very next day, I actually stumbled on him. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I missed this. Now I'm looking at this. Look, hold up. I just saw something I didn't expect to see. My next congressman reached out to me. Billy Prempa, when can we do a show? This was yesterday. Wow. I was busy all day today. I haven't checked any of my DMs. Oh my gosh. Billy Prempa. Hold up. When should I get Billy Prempa in here? When can I get him in here? Should I do Saturday night? You are in the DMs. He's dead, Jim. You are in the DMs. I just responded to Eric Hunley with a yes on his request for me to appear on his show. Let's ask him. All right. Why was I coming into X? There was a reason I came into X. I don't remember what it was. There was a reason I was coming in here. Oh, now I do. Now I remember. Okay, yeah. So there was on the other night I referenced how there was a guy from the Virginia GOP who I had spoken with on the phone, who's like ahead of their ground game, or he had some sort of group there, and he was talking about how terrible their ground game was, and then I saw him tweet the next day. Then I saw him the next day, and I was like, oh, that's what his name was. It was the Virginia Project. And I invited him to come on the show because I would love to hear his thoughts as to how Virginia is looking in this election. He said that the ground game has gotten a lot better, but still has more work to do. And yeah. But I just want to share with you this video here as to why you should start getting amped about Virginia.
Campaign just pulled out resources out of North Carolina. The Harris campaign just pulled out resources out of North Carolina. They
I told you about that yesterday.
have to go to Virginia. They've given up North Carolina. We had a new poll coming out this afternoon. Rasmussen has got Trump up by 5 in North Carolina.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. That's right. Rasmussen has him up by 5 in North Carolina. That was when that was supposed to be like a squeaker. A squeaker.
Stick a fork in the Harris campaign there. They're done. Now they got to move the resources into Virginia. Why? All of a sudden, Virginia's in play. Let me give you some numbers that are going to...
We're coming. The garbage is coming. That's right. It's garbage time. It's garbage time.
Knock your socks off. This is as of Monday. Early voting and mail-in ballots in Virginia. The Democrats right now are up by 150,000. That is down half of what they were up in 2020. So they're only running at half. Now, let me tell you the other thing. If the Trump campaign can hold in Virginia, the early vote lead to Harris at 250,000 or under.
So the early Harris votes. So right now, in Virginia, in fact, let's pull that up here. Do I have that? Do I have that here? I do have that. Let's pull that up here. Early voting. I got that bookmarked here. So in Virginia, there's 1.8 million ballots, which almost 1.9. So let's say there's 850,000 ballots that came out for Democrats. And yeah, roughly they're 180,000 behind right now. Roughly 180,000 behind.
They're going to carry Virginia. Let me tell you why. In 2021, they had a 225,000 early vote lead on Glenn Youngkin for governor. This is 21. He was able to win rather handily. So they got to keep it under 250. Right now, they're running track on that. They're going to need 54.5% of the vote on election day in order to overcome the 250,000 early vote lead the Democrats have. Now, we've exceeded that.
Now, I want to caution over-enthusiasm. I do want to caution against over-enthusiasm because as more and more people are doing early voting, that by necessity means that on election day, the disparity from which tends to lean heavily Republican, because a lot of Republican votes are burnt early, the disparity will probably be lower on election day. That's just reality, right? In other words, in the past, if you had 5% of Republicans doing early voting, and now you have 40% doing early voting. So now the disparity that we're going to have come election day is not going to be as significant. So just because Glenn Youngkin was 225,000 behind as far as, and now we're not even talking really votes. We're talking about Republican voters versus Democrat voters and a built-in assumption that everyone is voting along their party line, which is obviously far from truth. It's far from reality. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm a registered Democrat. And I voted for, obviously, to make America great again. So, and there's a lot of folks from the Democratic Party who are voting like that. But still, I just want to, I don't want there to be like a blind enthusiasm. I want to deliver truth. While I'm excited about the way things are breaking, I don't want to misstate reality. So just because for Glenn Youngkin, he was able to make up 225,000, that's because there were more people voting on election day than likely will be this year due to the fact, although that was not a national election cycle. I don't think he won. I think he won. I think their governor thing is like a year off. I think he won in 2021 or 22. So maybe they could make up 225,000.
Both in 2016 and 2020 in Virginia. So if they get there, Trump is going to win the state. Now, let me give you some other good news about Virginia and why the Harris campaign is freaked out. Low propensity voters. These are voters that have not voted in the last 4 elections or only voted in one of the last 4 elections.
So what he's talking about now is there seems to be an exceedingly high number of people who are voting for the first time in a long time. That they expect to lean pro-Trump. It's a sign that people are feeling desperate to come out and vote. That desperation is likely a pro-Trump voice in that they're frustrated with the way America is being run.
Turning out and they're breaking for Trump 65 to 35. He's got a 2-to-1 lead. Let me give you some other good news. In Virginia, these are real votes that are in the 9th district, very red. In 2020, 100,000 people that voted for Trump in 2016 didn't turn out. So far, 13,000 of them have already turned out. They've already voted, early voting, that's 13%. It's going 90-10 Trump. This thing is turning into a rout. Trump's going to win Virginia.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So that's good news. There was someone else that wanted to this we covered already. Did I have it in my comedy? Did I put it in my comedy tab? I think I did. It was my comedy tab. This guy. This guy's explaining why it is, and I was just referencing Democrats voting for Trump, or people registered as Democrats, and check this guy out. Very intelligent young man.
You guys like to assume that everybody who's voting for Trump is Republican. I'm not. Hell, Trump's not even a Republican. Matter of fact, neither is Elon, neither is RFK, neither is Tulsi Gabbard. A bunch of people who are voting for Trump aren't Republicans. The only current top Republican that's actually a Republican is J.D. Vance. The rest are JFK Democrats. They're conservative and they're libertarian. That's JFK in a nutshell.
It's a great point. It's a great point. I think that's what most of you probably are.
But the left has gone so far left that the Democrat Party is almost unrecognizable. They use a donkey as the mascot for the Democrat Party, and it is extremely fitting. Because over the last 24 years, you guys have been proven to be a bunch of jackasses. You questioned the election in 2000. You questioned the election in 2004. You won in 2008 and 2012, questioned 2016, and you expect us not to think that you're going to question 2024? Trump protests 2020, and you act like he's the worst person on the planet, yet Democrats have protested every single election won by Republicans since the year 2000. Shut the fuck up.
Damn! Oh, that was a great video. All right. What else I got for you? I got a lot more for you. Where are we going next? More lies from the left. More lies from the left. Check this clip out. It's just unbelievable how desperate they are. They're so desperate. They have no truth. They have no truth at all. This is what was shared on Kamala's Discord, the top video. And then the second video is what he actually said. They're desperately trying to rile up their base to say Trump is the one who's anti-women. Trump is the one who's anti-women. Look at what they shared.
They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say. I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not.
And they put it as Trump says states might monitor pregnancies to track abortions. This is what they're feeding the sheep. This is what they are feeding the sheep because they know the sheep are not going to do any homework. That he says, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. That's what they throw out there. That's what they throw out there.
Whether the women like it or not. Whether the women like it or not.
Look at these different quotes. Republicans push waiver bills that would bring homicide charges for abortion.
Whether the women like it or not. Whether the women like it or not. I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. Kamala has imported.
That's how they played it. That's how they played it with the over. I'm going to do it whether women like it or not. With all these different. That's what you just saw is what they showed on Look at all these different headlines that they're saying. Trump said, I'm going to do it whether women like it or not. And they showed these different headlines. Trump states could prosecute women for abortion. Republicans push wave of bills that would bring homicide charges. Nearly 65,000 pregnancies from rape have occurred in states with abortion bans. I'm going to do it whether women like it or not. That's where they get his voice. That's where they capture a clip of him saying, and they mesh it together with these abortion clips that he's coming after the women. He's going to throw them in jail. But this was the actual clip.
Jails. Criminal,
whether the women like it or not.
Kamala has imported criminal migrants from prisons and jails, from insane asylums and mental institutions all over the world, from Venezuela to the Congo, including savage criminals who assault, rape, and murder our women and girls. Anyone who would let monsters kidnap and kill our children does not belong anywhere near the Oval Office. And my people told me about 4 weeks ago, I was saying, no, I want to protect the people. I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect the women. Sir, please don't say that. Why?
Got a little faint on us there. So he's talking about how dangerous Kamala is as far as letting these illegal migrants in.
People told me about 4 weeks ago, I was saying, no, I want to protect the people. I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect the women. Sir, please don't say that. Why? They said, we think it's very inappropriate for you to say. I said, why? I'm president. I want to protect the women of our country. They said. They said, sir, I just think it's inappropriate for you to say, pay these guys a lot of money. Can you believe it? I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Deceptive editing from the left. Unfriggin' believable. They are such amazing liars. They lie and lie and lie to their own folks and say, you need to come out because he's going to prosecute women for abortions. Just watch. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. One second. A little crisis here. Denise Ann says Joe Aveda King had a great video of being a strong, intelligent woman for Trump. Aveda King? I had a whole bunch of videos. Pinochet says, also, Joe, today a Texas man was found guilty for carrying a firearm into the Capitol on January 6th. 4 years later, right before the election, Matt Graves magically found the armed guy, probably a Fed or CHS. I didn't see that story. I didn't. That's crazy. If they had total super chat, not just type of super chat, work better for goals. No one super chats 30 characters and pays for orange. Well, orange gives you a lot more characters. So I'm not sure. It is that R made of ground, or is it D down in early vote compared to prior elections? What we saw was a mix of both, frankly. Like in Pennsylvania, I was looking at the numbers that Elon Musk shared, and it's that the D was down. Democrats were down from like 1.4 million on the same day to 1.1 million, and the Republicans were up by like 80,000. Although, to be fair, I don't think it's proper when you're comparing days to say on the same date in 2020. Because what was the day of the election in 2020? It was like, I think it was like November 5th. Wait, what was election day in 2020? November 2nd? What was election day in 2020? November 3rd. So really, it's off by only a day. All right, it's not off by that much. It's not off by that much. I thought it was more. Wait, it's November 5th. It's off by 2 days. It's not true, Joe. What do we say? What do you mean, Kelly? What do you mean? I'm a little confused. Not a cult kind of cult, but also not a cult. Also not a cult. Two things are certain. Two things are certain. It is a cult and golden calves. No. It's not at all a cult type of cult. I don't know why. I don't know why this is confusing. It's pretty clear. I've been pretty clear about all of this here. I can't. How many ways do I have to repeat myself? This was shared by Mario today. This is Kamala basically telling you how she wants to run our country.
All of these social media companies and these online platforms, which are so powerful in their ability to impact perception about an issue and to influence behaviors. Let's be clear about that.
Let's be clear about that. Let's be clear. She loves being clear about stuff. Let's be clear about that.
There have to be standards, and he and his account should be taken down. We saw in El Paso that shooter in his manifesto was informed by how Donald Trump uses that platform. And
what about what we saw in Tennessee with that manifesto that we can't get to see? What about that one from the trans individual? What was motivating that individual? Because I think it was you.
this is a matter of corporate responsibility. Twitter should be held accountable and shut down that site. It is a matter of safety and corporate accountability.
Thank you. Senator Warren, you can respond.
So look, I don't just want to push Donald Trump off Twitter. I want to push him out of the White House. That's our job.
Join me in saying that his Twitter account should be shut down.
Let's figure
Unbelievable.
out why it is that
he has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to.
What does that mean? They're different private companies. They're different private companies. This is before, by the way, this is before Elon Musk bought it, that she was dissatisfied with the level of censorship on their old Twitter.
Which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight.
Why would we? What the hell is oversight on speech? You incompetent nitwit.
Or regulation. And that has to stop.
Donald Trump has 65 million followers on Twitter, and we have to take seriously the weaponization of this platform by the president and the need, therefore, of a private corporation to be held accountable to say he has abused the terms, and it could result literally in a threat to safety of human beings who are participating with the process of justice.
You're a threat to safety of human beings. You're a threat to American lives. You have cost American lives.
There is not a part of you civically, constitutionally, that is concerned about the precedent of a private company taking the platform away from the President of the United States or some other elected official.
Free speech does not condone or protect threats to the safety of other human beings.
There's no threats. Idiot. This is a freaking prosecutor.
And so that is what we are talking about. Like, let's be really clear about what we're talking about.
She loves being really clear. She loves saying, let's be really clear. Let's be really clear. Let's be really clear. You are being really clear. You're being really clear that you're a frightening human being to ever be a leader of anything in politics.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or...
Yes, there is, idiot.
Or hate speech, and especially around...
I'm just a knucklehead.
Our democracy.
You have Dumb and Dumber here. It's like the knock on Kamala Harris is that she's too stupid, so she signs up with a guy who's a self-professed knucklehead to bolster her cred. No, she's far more reliable now that she got a knucklehead on board. Let's get into the vaccines and RFK. I got two stories here on RFK. this was. Let's start. I think it was over here. No, that wasn't it. Dang. I know I should look at this behind. This is the one. RFK making an announcement yesterday, which should make most of you happy, making the left freak out.
President Trump has asked me to reorganize the federal health agencies, the agencies that have a portfolio that affects human health, which is CDC, NIH, FDA, as well as some of the agencies within the United States Department of Agriculture. He's asked me to clean up the corruption, number one. Number two, end the conflicts of interest, return those agencies to their rich tradition of gold standard, empirically based, evidence-based science, evidence-based medicine, and to end the chronic disease epidemic in this country. And he's asked me specifically to measurably reduce chronic disease in our children within 2 years.
Amazing.
Oh.
Amazing. Hopefully successful in that. So that has made the left freak out a little bit here now, where they've come along and said, what are you talking about? You're going to put RFK in charge of all this? He's an anti-vaxxer. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not giving you any medical advice. I'm not going to make any jokes about that. YouTube wants me to tell you that there's no medical advice here. I'm not giving you any medical advice. This next gentleman, the last guy, wasn't giving you medical advice. You should talk to your doctor about how to keep you and your family safe, because there's no medical advice on this show. But so now here is
one other person who
Kristen something, who I always forget her name, talking to someone who's talking to an inside source about what the Trump transition chief on what a second term would look like here. And he levels her. You all know her name, right? You all tell me her name, Kristen something. Same here, Ramelon. That's it. That's it. Caitlin Collins. Yes, that's who we're talking to. Caitlin Collins. All right. So
who was on stage.
I gotta find a way to make this just generally louder. I'm tired of having to use my volume master all the time.
Recently, and was talking about coming into the administration, is RFK Jr. He said that Trump has promised him control of the public health agencies, HHS, which would be also, CDC, FDA, USDA, all of these agencies. Is that true? Has Trump promised him basically the HHS job?
So I spent 2.5 hours this week with Bobby Kennedy Jr. And it was the most extraordinary thing, because let's face it, we've all heard on the news all sorts of sort of snarky comments about him. And I said, so tell me, how's it going to go? And he said, why don't you just listen to me explain things? And what he explained was, when he was born, we had 3 vaccines, and autism was 1 in 10,000. Now a baby's born with 76 vaccines, because in 1986, they waived product liability for vaccines. And
see, this is an interesting thing. This is an interesting thing that I was unaware of. I was unaware that they changed the yardstick in 1986. Again, there's no medical advice here. I'm not telling you that vaccines cause anything. They don't cause anything. You definitely, I'm really serious about. You really should talk to your doctors, your personal doctors, to what's best for you. But the argument here that is, in 1986, all of a sudden they changed the yardsticks. So that should give pause before we just assume that money is not somehow insinuating itself into the official messaging.
And here's the best one. They started paying the people at the NIH, right? They pay them a piece of the money for the vaccine companies. Wait a minute, let me finish. And so all of these vaccines came out without product liability. So what happened now? Autism is 1 in 34.
Okay,
amazing.
Neither of us are doctors.
And that's a correlative link. It's not an established causative link. There's a correlative link, and I talked about this a lot during my Ungag Trump application. There's a very big difference between a correlative link and a causative link. A correlative link is the example that I remember hearing when I was in law school. Correlative link is there's a versus a causative link. A causative link is a significantly higher percentage of people who own a motorcycle bike get into motorcycle accidents compared to the rest of the population. So if you own a motorcycle, you own a hog, you own a whatever. So you've now entered a group, a subset of humanity, which has a higher incidence of being injured in a motorcycle accident. It's causative. You have a motorcycle that's causing you to be on a motorcycle and to ultimately, God forbid, wind up in a motorcycle accident. A correlative link is there's an unusually high number of people who have tattoos who get into motorcycle accidents. So yeah, people who tend to be riding motorcycles tend to have tattoos, but it's not like the existence of the tattoos has any factor, plays a role in them ending up in a motorcycle accident. They just happen to be a lot of overlap in interests and beliefs and personalities and tastes and culture. So that's a correlative link, not a causative link. So when he talks about how there's been an incentivization for there being greater number of vaccines and that a lot of the restrictions were lifted with respect to potential financial risk that big pharma faces for bad vaccines in 1986, that Congress basically was practically incentivizing the big pharma to come out with more and more vaccines, and by saying you're not going to have product liability issues. And then you got people from the FDA who are incentivized to approve these vaccines, and there's obviously a great deal of money there. And now we see over the next 30 years there is an increase in the amount of percentage of kids who display autism. Is that display of autism caused or correlative? Because there could be other factors which are leading to autism. What this means is it beckons for further study. I don't think we should just say, oh, strike down, the cure to autism is to strike down most of these vaccines. That doesn't seem to say that. We don't know that that's actually true. Nobody knows that's true. But to say that it begets further investigation, that we should have further investigation as to maybe this is a factor, maybe it's not just correlative, but it's causative, that's logical. That's just good common sense. That's just observation. That's science says that, hey, when you observe some sort of correlation like that, at the very least, we should be testing to see, okay, why are a greater number of kids autistic today than there was 50 years ago? And what factors do they have? And I don't know. Is it vaccine? I don't know. I literally don't know. Do I vaccinate my kids? Yes. I give my kids all get vaccinated. So I definitely wouldn't qualify myself as an anti-vaxxer. Definitely not. My grandkids all have been vaccinated at appropriate times and ages. But I do think that to say that, hey, maybe there should be an investigation here to see whether, I don't know, one or two of these might have a problem, might be causing kids a problem. That seems to be like just common sense. I mean, that's just common sense. And that doesn't make him an anti-vaxxer because he's not saying he knows. He's like, look, this is what's happening. But it could be it's very possible it has nothing to do with vaccines. It could be it's about the water. It could be it's about the air. It could be, I don't know. It could be literally anything. It could be some chemical agent that came from that China unleashed here. I don't know. Who the hell knows? Nobody knows. But to use science to try and do research and try and figure out, okay, what character traits do these kids with autism, what genetic issues or issues like that do we see in kids who have autism, and how might that be tied in to factor A, B, C, D, E, F? And amongst those factors, I would say that the increase in vaccines and looking at them one by one, or perhaps in conjunction with each other, some of them, makes sense. Makes sense to at least investigate it. Like, why would it's so stupid? Like, the party of science seems to say, oh God, no, you can't question the science that we have up until today. So it's like they're literally the party of anti-science. And again, I want to be clear here. On your individual level, I genuinely believe that with respect to you taking care of your kids and everyone else, you should talk to your doctor. Whatever your doctor tells you is going to be far more informed or insightful than anything I can offer on this. I'm having a political discussion now as to what's a healthy way for America to move forward.
Vaccines are safe. RFK, I mean,
Why do you think vaccines are safe? There's no product liability anymore. They're not proven.
Kids get them and they're fine.
Why do you think they're fine?
But because they're proven scientifically to be.
You see, science means you always question what we know and see, is it actually true? That's part of science, Caitlin.
Yes, there was 1 in 10,000 people with autism. We all know so many more people with autism than had it when we were young. Oh, come on.
Okay,
I mean, his point is really interesting.
But
so here's what he
vaccines don't cause autism, which is what RFK pushes, which is why people are concerned.
But his point is you don't know that. That's what you believe, and hopefully you're right. But shouldn't we investigate what is causing higher? Whatever it is, we should be investigating what's causing higher autism. Would you agree with that? And is there any possibility at all, that perhaps this change in culture has been a causative factor, not just a correlative factor? Is there any change at all? That's how I would throw this at Caitlin. Okay. Do you agree that there's an increase in autism today compared to what we had 40 years ago? Because the math says that there's a crazy higher number. Instead of it being like 1 in 10,000 in California, it's like 1 in 30. That's insane. That's an insane, dramatic increase. You're talking about thousands, hundreds of thousands of kids that never would have had autism before that now have it. So we should figure out what the cause is. Try to figure out why. I mean, all these lives the kid becomes autistic, his life is ruined. I don't know. I mean, it's dramatically impaired. Dramatically. It's life altering. So hundreds of thousands of kids who don't have to necessarily have autism, we should just ignore finding finding a way to prevent doing that to children over the next couple of decades. Is that not worth investing? I mean, how monstrous do you have to be to say, no, we're not going to look into this? Idiot.
That he could get a job like HHS. And I don't even
he's
think
not getting a job for HHS. What he's trying to do, here's what he wants to do. He said, I want data. I just want data because they block the data.
But the data's out there.
Wait, it's not.
They don't block it. You can look at it. It's online.
He wants the data so he can say, these things are unsafe. He says, if you give me the data, all I want is the data, and I'll take on the data and show that it's not safe. And then if you pull the product liability, the companies will yank these vaccines right off of the market. So that's his point. He's not trying to do anything but things that made sense. And look,
this is not where I thought this was going because
I spent 2.5 hours.
RFK Jr. is a vaccine skeptic. He pushes lies about.
That's a label. That doesn't mean anything. That's literally a label. Talk about what he says, not just give him a label and therefore dismiss him. That's an argument for the weak of mind.
About vaccines, and I don't even think if Republicans.
Why do you think he pushes lies? Why you said you said I'm not a scientist and you aren't. So
but
he just wants
scientists
data.
say he pushes lies.
Some scientists, I'm sure, do. Some scientists, I'm sure, say he doesn't. That's what's so stupid.
Just we're paid to say he pushes lies. I mean, let's give him the data. I think it'd be pretty cool to give him the data. Let's see what he comes up with.
Okay.
I think it's pretty fun.
He pushed conspiracies about COVID. He had to apologize for tying.
Oh, stop with that. Stop with that. You are the worst purveyors of anyone.
Vaccine questions to what happened in Germany during the Holocaust.
I promise you, I have not looked at all the things he said.
That anyone's looking at for
he said Roundup. Remember Roundup?
But you're saying he would not be in charge of HHS?
No, of course not.
Okay, so he's not going to be like an acting
secretary. No,
well, he couldn't get confirmed. But would he be in an acting position or anything like that?
I just told you what he wants. He wants to help get data.
You're saying he wants access to data, but that
he just wants data and he wants to prove things are wrong. And he says, if I can't prove they're wrong, that's fine. But if I can save millions of Americans' lives and make their lives better. And I think that's pretty cool.
I'm not sure any
he's
data.
Just trying to do it.
I don't think any data.
How the hell do you know, Caitlin? It's like this is where someone has such hubris that they can't admit that you don't know. You don't know. She's like, I don't think. How the hell would you know anything? You have no idea what data says. How the hell would you know what data would, what someone would learn from looking at data?
It would back that up. But
it's like such an idiot. How stupid are you? God, unbelievable. Leftist woman. Private. This is going back to when we're talking about censorship. Private companies, Facebook and Mim was created by DARPA. So was Microsoft. Where does that leave the FBI? Rush infiltrates Twitter. Maybe. F it. There you go. Even after not living there in 22 years, I still represent the Day Area. That's my gut says there's a typo here. My gut says there's a typo. Do you mean the Bay Area? The Bay Area would make sense as a sentence. I'm looking in the chat here. What did you mean by the Day Area? You don't have to give a super chat. Just Joe Neerman Collection Company. What do you got? What do you got here? Yes, there's a typo there. It's the Bay Area is what CDW says. The LA Bay Area. But why is that relevant here? I love you guys. Karen, German Karen says Russia fines Google 20.5 decillion over YouTube bans, 195 quintillion times what world GDP. Any chances could work? Not a joke, true story. 20.5 decillion, 195 quintillion times world GDP. That's really funny. Wow. Let's put it like this. In case you're wondering, so billion is because so million has 6 zeros. Billion is when you add another 3 zeros. Trillion is when you add another 3 zeros. Quadrillion is another 3 zeros. Quintillion is another 3 zeros. Decillion is doing that another 5 times. So another 15 zeros. Too many. I like how they're like, not 1 decillion. No, we need 20 decillion. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Putin's funny. The pharma companies threaten to stop producing them without immunity because of concerns they're inherently unsafe. That should tell you everything you need to know. Yeah, there you go. There you go. This is my perfect Nathan Wade imitator. He does the perfect Nathan Wade voice. Numbers changed because definition changed and millions or billions are spent on research, but we should always question and study. That's what Shia says. Shia's a guy I know. He's a friend of mine. That's not true, Shia. At least according to when you say the definition changed, I'd like to sit. I'll next time I see you, I'll have a 5-minute conversation with you about this because I was sitting around a table with 2 of my sisters-in-law who are in the medical profession, and we're having a whole conversation about the increase in autism. And that was the first question I asked them. Is it possible that there was a definitional change where we broadened what we call autism, and that's why there's an increase in the percentage of people who have autism? That's not, but if you would have used that yardstick of the broader definition we use now, back in 1970, we wouldn't see any sort of statistical increase. Maybe that's true. That's essentially what Shia is saying. I mean, we see the left do this all the time. What they'll do is they'll play with statistics to try and prove some sort of bogus point. So if they change what crime is, and they're only going to count violent crime and ignore smaller crime, all of a sudden, like, oh, look, there's been a decrease in crime because there's far fewer crimes here, because all of a sudden we're not counting nonviolent pickpockets. So all this, so we're just going to carve out a whole section now, and look, total numbers of crime are down. But so when people in politics tend to use definitional changes in order to make bogus points. And Shia is calling attention to the fact that, hey, maybe it's possible that we broaden how we define autism. And under these new broad terms, a lot more people have autism because, oh, this is what we're calling autism. But people who had similar situations 30 years earlier, we wouldn't have called them autistic. But there was just the same number of people who are who get autism today compared to 30 years ago. But that's exactly what I asked. It was the first question I asked when we were having this conversation around Taylor family, and 2 family members said no, they did nothing to change the definition. So I'd love to hear from you exactly how that definition has changed. If you have different information on that. Kelly says, as Trump indicated, you're a hateful, horrible person to Miss Caitlin Stiff Bones Ho Queen. She's a hateful person. Have you checked the RCP poll average today? No, I have not. Should I? Real Clear Politics. I can take a moment for that. We'll take a moment on that. So I think it's a good thing to check. Michigan, according to Washington Post, is giving Harris +1. Whereas Atlas puts them at tie, whereas Atlas is pretty reliable, actually. It's good to sort of click on them every once in a while. They'll tell you what, they go through like the sample size is 1,136 respondents, 52% female, 46% male. Confidence level, margin of error is plus or minus 3 points on the See, I don't know why this comes out 49.2 to 48.3, and yet Atlas is saying puts them at a point behind. And Atlas is pretty reliable. They're pretty good, actually, supposedly. They put them as a tie. MNS Mitchell Research puts them at +1. Pennsylvania Atlas gives Trump 1 point. UMass gives Pennsylvania gives Harris a point. Let's check out the national average. Over here in North Carolina, he's just winning bigger, and the spread is only growing. Like I said, Atlas is pretty reliable. CNN is stupid. Rasmussen is okay. They have Trump crushing in Georgia. I don't think Trudeau's going to be close. Let's check out nationally. President polls. National. Look at these numbers. They're having Trump plus 0.3% nationally. Oh, that's in battle for the White House. Normally, I'm able to find here the overall aggregate. Every time I've checked it out, the aggregate this week. Oh, here it is. Having Trump plus 0.4% nationally. Plus 0.3%. A lot of folks are thinking he's going to win the national. This is which is obviously unimportant for anything other than his ego. But all right, got a bunch more stories I need to cover with you. Here is Anna, not too happy with the way Democrats handled the Biden garbage story.
Can we just please not provide cover for our leaders when they make mistakes like this? That was a terrible mistake that Biden made. It should not be justified. Again, if you're a private citizen and you have your personal views about the Republican electorate, that's on you and that's your business. You have not taken an oath to represent the country. You're not the president of the United States. And I don't know why anyone would think it's a good idea to celebrate or applaud political culture in this country that allows for the president to just regularly trash tens of millions of people that he himself is supposed to be representing.
And promised to be a president for all. Specifically promised. His whole campaign was unity, 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 unity. That's what his whole campaign was, unity.
That is not a good culture to set. And things will just continue devolving. I don't think that this is a winning thing to do. I'm not proud of what Biden did. And honestly, the thing that frustrates me even more is that after he made those statements, even though he was on video making those statements, a bunch of people are totally gaslighting about how it didn't happen. It's totally made up. It's fake.
Like KJP, like the White House press secretary, like his handlers on Twitter afterwards.
It's a scary world that we're currently living in, where a lot of people, a lot of voters, a lot of people in the media, just not based in, their views are not based in reality at all. And they would rather lie to people in order to cover up a mistake or a terrible act of an individual in a position of power. I don't even recognize what's happened to the Democratic Party anymore, to be honest. And luckily, you have people like Kamala Harris pushing back, and I'm really proud of her for doing that.
Really? Did she push back on what the White House said when they tried covering? All of a sudden, Anna just sort of going a whole different direction.
If you're offended by it, be offended by it. I don't really care. I see the direction that the country is going in with this type of divisive, disgusting rhetoric from people who, again, went out of their way to get elected to represent the people. When you make that decision, when you are awarded that position by the people, you need to represent the people, including the individuals who decided to cast their ballots for someone else.
There you go. Anna being red-pilled in real time. She is steadily getting red-pilled. Pinochet says, also, Joe, today a Texas man was found guilty for carrying a firearm into the Capitol on January 6th. 4 years later, right before election, Matt Graves magically found the armed guy, probably a Fed or CHS. Yep. I didn't see that story, but yeah. Jeff Clark is trying to warn what is coming. Please take it seriously, at least lay it out for the audience so that they are prepared. Okay. You want me to check out Jeff Clark? You sent me a couple of super chats on this. I'll try and see what you're talking about here. I don't know who Jeff Clark is, but I'll try to find it. The ghetto has spoken. The ghetto has spoken. There's a few Jeff Clarks here. Are you talking about? I see a 28-minute video. Here it is. This is the Jeff Clark. He said it's a 12-minute video. I see a 4-minute video from him. Well, let's see. This is him with Jeff Bannon today. This is what I assume you're talking about here, even though you said it's a 12-minute video. I'll look at that in just a moment. Let me finish up with the rants here. This Johnny Reb hit me with 20. Joe, I wore my Adopt the Highway t-shirt, trash off 2024 word today. I didn't have to explain anything. 90% knew what I was saying with the shirt. MS7 has lost narrative, crafting power. It's true. They really have. They really have. All right, let's check out what we got here.
And what I want to bring to the viewers, listeners' attention is the fact that I think Chief Justice Roberts was prescient. I think he saw that this was coming, and according to leaks to the New York Times, to Liptak, the reporter there, they were essentially, trying to close this off back in March. And it seems like, several of the justices in the 5 to 6 justice majority got off of that train. And so what they did was they said they couldn't take Trump off the ballot in Colorado. This is the Trump v. Anderson case. They said that you'd have to have a new statute, but essentially they left open the question of whether Jamie Raskin can pull this maneuver on this January 6th, 2025.
No, they didn't.
And so it's amazing that the chief foresaw this. He could apparently shut it down. There shouldn't be these leaks from the Supreme Court. Of course, I want to make that clear. But that would have been a much more opportune time to close this off. If we get to the point where Trump wins and Jamie Raskin pulls this dangerous maneuver where he recognizes he's even going to have protection and guards, which I think, he doesn't really have as big a threat as he thinks he does, but that he wants to portray it as MAGA, wants to kill him in his bed. Then, we're in a world where the Supreme Court's going to have to decide an emergency case, and they could have decided.
No, this is never happening. I cover this on Locals. This is never going to happen. Stop worrying about this stuff.
This back in March, and particularly Amy Coney Barrett, she wasn't even happy with the fact that they said a new statute would have to be passed in order to operationalize Section 3 under Section 5 of the 14th Amendment.
Just walk us through. Let's go back for a second. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, is that what they're talking about?
Yes.
Walk us. What does that say? How does it tie to their first effort to take Trump off the ballot? And what Raskin says, well, you took him off the ballot, but that doesn't mean he's actually certifiable to be president of the United States.
Right. So they tried to take him off the ballot, Steve, in Colorado and in Maine. So the Supreme Court decided this in the Colorado case, that vehicle.
What did they argue? What does Section 3 of the 14th Amendment say that's so explosive?
It says that, if you have engaged in insurrection and you're on a certain list of officials, that then you are barred from holding office under the United States. The problem is that the president, one big problem, and I wrote about this and appeared on your show about it, is the president is not on the list. So it talks about senators, it talks about representatives, and the president's absent from that. There are a lot of different arguments that President Trump employed. The argument that the Supreme Court ultimately adopted to, invalidate what Colorado had said to try to keep him off the ballot was, if a state can decide for its own sake that it thinks an insurrection happened and it stops someone from running for president,
it's inverting the entire purpose of the 14th Amendment.
You're going to have a patchwork where President Trump is on some ballots and not other ones, and that would be a chaotic system. We can't.
That's part of what they said, but they also said the purpose of the 14th Amendment was to take power away from the states and give it to the federal government, because we didn't want southern states to be sending people to serve in Congress who had previously served and then went and engaged in rebellion, and then for them to come back was ridiculous. So we're trying to strip power from the states and say you states are not empowered to send them up to the federal government. That was the point to the 14th Amendment, to say you individual states no longer have a power to decide anyone you want. Certain people you're automatically restricted from sending up here. Certain people we're going to bar you from bringing up here. That's what the point was. So for these individual states to say we now, because the 14th Amendment, can use the 14th Amendment to take people out of federal office is just a ridiculous misread of what the purpose of the 14th Amendment was.
Have that, and all of the justices agreed with that point. That was not 9-0. Which is a tremendous victory. Then 5 justices said that in order to actually try to enforce Section 3 of the 14th Amendment that has this insurrectionist bar in it, under Section 5 of the 14th Amendment, Congress would have to pass a new statute. And that's what peeled off Amy Coney Barrett. She's like, we don't need to reach that question. We can just do the 9-0 question. But then there's a further question, which is what happens on January 6th of 2025?
Nothing happens then.
And if Hakeem Jeffries controls the House,
which he won't,
Raskin is signaling is that they're going to say, well, we are Congress, we are the House, and we are, going to not vote to allow him to be certified as president because he's an insurrectionist. We're interpreting Section 3 of the 14th Amendment for ourselves. That's clearly going to lead to a major emergency Supreme Court case. And what I was trying to point out is that the bud on this could have been nipped back in March.
Okay. Pinochet. I know you must not have seen my locals if you saw this and got concerned. I am going to let all of you know. I broke down 4 different reasons why this is not a legitimate concern. This is Chicken Little type of screaming. It's 4 different reasons. 4 different reasons. 2 of them are in the decision themselves. And it relates to habeas corpus, ex post facto, and the fact that you couldn't apply a statute to him after the fact. But more to the point, just simple math. Simple math. On January 6, 2025, almost nobody thinks that the Democrats will be holding the Senate. There's no reason to think that they're going to control the House. Quite the contrary. We're looking at the most likely scenario here where the House, thankfully, thank God, the House, the Senate, and the executive branch, we're going to be looking at being all Republican after this election is over. So stop. And even if they got the Senate, they would need to get 60 senators to sign off on this. They need 60 because of the filibuster. Because of the filibuster, they would need 60 senators to say no Trump because of the 14th Amendment. It's never happening. It's not going to happen. Stop worrying about it. Okay? It's not happening. It's not even going to come to the floor because, frankly, I don't think that any of them, they're never going to have control of the House between now and January 6, 2025. Just chill. And everyone's afraid of, what do they have up their sleeve? Don't worry about it. I don't need this story. Let's see what else we have here. This I thought was interesting. Should we do this one? We'll do this one.
Fox News alert, Wanda the Stuffer just got fired.
Wanda the Stuffer just got fired. This is how terrible our government is. There's a government employee who was convicted. Was she convicted?
Wanda's the Democrat operative and ballot stuffer from Bridgeport, Connecticut. She's been collecting a paycheck from her government job for over a year, even though she's been suspended and charged with election fraud. And
she's under indictment for election fraud because she stuffed ballots.
Caught on tape. Finally, we're not paying her anymore. The media always says there's no election fraud, and we got it on tape. And now a Democrat operative has been investigated.
It's a big deal because, you talk about, minor incidents of election fraud. This is someone who's a government employee using their position, presumably, to engage in fraud.
And fired for stuffing. Fox News.
So there you go. I thought that was interesting. That's nice that she was finally fired 4 years later. 4 years later. Unbelievable. I'm running through my stories here really quick. All right. I don't know what led to this, but I have thoughts. I have thoughts on this. So I'll share this one with you also. I told you I got a whole bunch of stories here. All right.
You fucking bitch.
Oh, wow.
There's no reason. Yeah, all that extra. Sir,
wow.
Listen, don't cuss. This is my motherfucking right here.
Wow.
Why is it defending you? It's like it's not. All right, then shut the hell up and let me vote. Okay, we ain't got nothing else to say. We ain't got nothing else to say.
Wow.
Next thing there it is right there.
Wow. Oh, wow. God.
Watch now.
Oh.
She hit him. She hit him. And now everything goes sideways. Now everything goes sideways. See, the only reason a person like that ends up hitting a person like the other is because they assume there's a built-in assumption that I am impervious to being struck back because you're not going to have the cojones to hit me back because you're a man and you're a woman. Now, I'm going to preface this by telling you that if you're a dude and you go around hitting women, there's something wrong with you and you need psychological counseling. Okay? You're a weak beta loser. So I don't want anyone to misread anything I'm about to say as in any way condoning men hitting women. I think that's wrong. I also think it's wrong for a woman to hit a man, especially in a situation like this, where you're weaponizing your female genitalia as a shield, that I'm safe from being hit. I can hit you and you're not going to hit me back because I have a uterus. So if I have a uterus, you're not allowed to hit me. So I can hit you, but you're not allowed to hit me because I have a uterus. I don't think that's true. If a woman gets physical, and she initiates, strikes you, at that point, in my mind, that natural order of saying men should never hit women needs to be really re-examined. Because it's ridiculous for a woman to be able to have jurisdiction and license to go around hitting men and stand behind the shield of her uterus. It's ridiculous. So if he had turned around and clocked her, I would have been like, self-defense.
Wow. Wow.
Now these other women stand in his way, and that puts him in a more precarious situation, because hitting any of them, that's a problem. Whereas if they were guys, it would be totally fine for him to like sort of hit them out of his way.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. Wow.
Wow. I might want to help with him. I may want to help with him.
I have no idea. I don't know if anyone knows. Why do you say he was in the wrong 100%? Why do you say that, Tam? I don't know what led to him getting upset. But why do you say that? In the video here, I don't think there's even any label. It just says Trump voter was assaulted by South Carolina polling station workers during an argument over his MAGA hat. Now, you're not allowed to wear a MAGA hat in to vote. At least in New Jersey. I don't know about the law in South Carolina. But I will say you're not allowed to wear a Harris Walls hat either. You're not allowed to wear any political paraphernalia when you go into the voting area. Consider a form of speech, and you're not allowed to engage in political advocacy within a certain zone around voting booths. That's the way it is in New Jersey. It likely is similar in most jurisdictions. So you're in South Carolina. What do you say? Is it the same by you guys? You're saying in Texas too? Was it the same by you, Lisa? I didn't see him put hands on her first. If you look at this thing, now I want to look at it again.
Wow.
It's him taking his hat off. No one's hit anyone yet.
Oh, wow.
Now this woman in orange.
Oh. Oh.
It looks like he put his hand up and pointed at her, and then she hit him. Same California. I think it's pretty much like that everywhere. Same in Ohio. Same in Dakota. Same in Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, and Alabama. Nevada. I think it's everywhere. I'm just saying yes, it's the same. So that does put him in the wrong for thinking that he can wear it in there. I could not wear this hat when I go vote. No way. It is considered electioneering. Yeah. There's the First Amendment. The Supreme Court has said the First Amendment can be limited in time and place if appropriate. There are time and place limitations. Anyhow. All right, let's move forward here. I don't know what to make of this story. It's a 20-second clip. I saw it, and this is about Haitians being paid to vote. Sorry, Haitians being able to vote multiple times. The headline here says, it's from Alpha Fox, where he's claiming illegal Haitians flown into the U.S. claim they received all necessary documents and driver license within just 6 months of arriving in the U.S. and able to vote. They show several Georgia driver's licenses featuring the same photo and claim to have voted for Kamala Harris in 2 different counties so far, Gwinnett and Fulton. This is insane. Imagine how many others are doing this. Can someone from Gwinnett County and Fulton County in Georgia please verify this? And here we go.
We are from Haiti. We came to America 6 months ago and we already have American citizenship. We are voting Kamala Harris. Yesterday we voted in Gwinnett County and today we are voting in Fulton County. We have all our documents, driver's license.
Magla Sylvian. I don't know how they have multiple driver's licenses.
We invite all Haitians to come to America and bring families.
What the hell is going on here? What the hell is going on? Well, here's one possible explanation for you. What that video? This is what Alex Jones shared today. If you're wondering what that Haiti thing is, maybe it's related to this. I don't know. But Alex Jones said they found the source of how illegals are getting registered to vote. All right.
I found the source of exactly where all these illegals are getting put on the voter rolls, and it's going to be made public very, very soon. And I'll tell you right now where it is. And it's an organization called the Electronic Registration Information Center.
Okay. That says member states securely submit voter registration and motor vehicle department data to ERIC. ERIC is also certified to use official death. I don't know what the D is there. When the Social Security Administration prescribes the change of address data from the USPS, United States Postal Service. Utilizing these 4 data sources, ERIC provides its members with rep something that identify inaccurate, out-of-date voter registration records, deceased voters, individuals who appear to be eligible to vote but who are not yet registered, and possible cases of illegal voting. In compliance with federal and state laws, members use these reports to contact voters for purposes of updating their records or to remove the ineligible and deceased voters from the rolls. Remember, this is why you need clean voter rolls. Everyone's like, well, what's the harm in having messy rolls? It's that people get to access them and use them. Members also contact to be eligible, not yet registered individuals, providing information on how best to register. Possible cases of illegal voting are reviewed and found credible to law or reported to law enforcement.
It's led by a guy named David Becker, who was involved in a scandal while he was a U.S. attorney, and he essentially contacted the city of Boston while he worked for the DOJ, and the DOJ sued Boston over voting rights, claiming that he would help them get out of it. He then worked for PFAW, the People for the American Way, a far-left organization. Then he went on to work for Pew. And with George Soros' money, he created an organization called the Electronic Registration Information Center, which is known as ERIC. And then ERIC contracts with the states to get your DMV records, all that sensitive data that nobody else can get, that's protected under the Driver's Privacy Protection Act. That's where they're finding out the ineligible voters. That's where they're finding out who in the state isn't registered to vote. And their membership agreement prohibits you from disclosing to them who is or is not a citizen. So you send all the information to people that live there. Don't tell them if they're citizens or not. And they pump those names.
I'm very confused by what he's saying here. I'm not going to kid you. Maybe we can sort through this together.
Not a citizen. So you send all the information.
Let's go back a little bit here because I'm a little confused.
That's where they're finding out the ineligible voters. That's where they're.
What does that mean, ineligible voters? That's where they're finding out. So through driver's licenses, they find, let's say, illegal aliens, because illegal aliens are able to get driver's licenses. So that's where they find the ineligible voters.
Finding out who in the state isn't registered to vote.
And they also find out, okay, who's not registered.
And their membership agreement prohibits you from disclosing.
What does it mean, prohibits you?
To them who is or is not a citizen.
I don't know who you is here in this context. I'm a little confused by this report. I'm not kidding you. And I don't like being confused by stuff like this. It sounds very alarming. It's presented in a very alarming way with dramatic music. But I always want to question the legitimacy of what I'm seeing, not just presented as this is happening. So this report says that they're getting access to driver's license records and voter registration rolls and seeing who's not registered to vote. And I guess they don't bother finding out whether or not they are citizens.
So you send all the information to people that live there. Don't tell them if they're citizens or not. And they pump those names onto the voter rolls, and then they circulate it back, and then they give it to the
and then they use that to get them on the voter rolls?
Other organization David Becker found, which is the Center for Election Innovation and Research, which is the recipient of all those Zucker bucks from back in 2020.
It's very confusing the way he lays this out. Now, maybe they wanted to keep it short or whatever, but I have a lot of questions about what he's alleging here. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just not prepared to say he's right. It seems like when information is presented this way, I feel as if it's designed to trigger me or you. Trigger people like us into thinking that our elections are about to be stolen. I'm very cautious about when people present things in a way that feel designed to trigger me to feel a certain way and to feel outrage. So I saw this video, and that's why I want to say to you something that I want to know more about. But the way it's presented here is just too little information that could very easily be slightly manipulated for the purposes of portraying the left as living down to all the evil things that we already suspect them of. And this way to get us to scream in outrage. Now, that doesn't mean that this report is wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying this is not happening. I'm saying I would never walk into a debate with the information I got from this video and say, aha, you see, this is what's going on. And the reason I wouldn't is because I'm left almost more confused than informed as a result of seeing this video. I don't know what I'm seeing here. I understand in broad terms, it sounds like they're saying So they have access to various sources of information that perhaps they should not have access to, and that they've gained access to it, and they use that access for the purpose of getting illegal aliens onto voter rolls. That's the overall thing that I'm supposed to be taking from this. How that process works is a little bit confusing to me. Whether that works in all states, only works in some states, and do they have access to driving records in all 50 states? And where are they getting that access from? And who's providing that to them? And then they get from the driver access and from the driver information, and how they're getting the voter registration rolls. I guess it's possible for them to get their hands on that. But then how do you get that person onto the voter roll? I guess you send them a registration card and they can register. And that they're lying and saying that they're legal citizens and they just end up on a voter roll? Is that how easy it is to get on a voter roll? I just have too many questions. And a lot of these questions probably vary significantly from one jurisdiction to another. It could be very different in New Jersey from how it is in Connecticut or in Virginia or Kentucky. So I don't know what to take from this. Other than, and I do feel as if it's trying to weaponize my emotion and my natural tendency of distrusting the left. So when you see a video like this, I'm not saying you should dismiss it. I don't think you should. But I would say that if you ever come across a video like this, you should at least pause before jumping into an emotion and ask yourself, what information do I have now that could I explain to someone, if a total stranger, if I'm not showing them this video and I had to walk someone through the process. So aside from the fact that there's no evidence that they're doing this, right? They don't show you. We saw the Haitians, right? Is this how the Haitians got access to it? And how did they get 4 of them? Like, how are they getting 4 different things? I'm very confused. I feel more confused than informed as a result of this whole thing. It's not the person who's generated, Joe. It's the ballot, the number, 1 vote. That's what I do. It works for him. He does it better than I do, I guess. I don't know. But I think it's designed. I think the reach is intentional. I think the reach is intentional to like weaponize my emotion and make me feel a certain way. And that is the answer. Too big to rig. Too big to rig. All right, I'm going to do Trump v. CBS on my local stream. After I finish up here, I'm going to be doing a local stream at goodlogic.locals.com. Link is in the description and also pinned in the chat. Saying same in California. Did you see Trump's mean tweet to Mark Cuban, just like the ones we've been missing? He sent a tweet to him. Let me see. Thank you for calling this to my attention. Mark Cuban, really dumb guy who thinks he's hot stuff, but he's absolutely nothing, is now out there saying that I don't surround myself with strong women. Actually, he's very wrong. I surround myself with the strongest of women, with the understanding that all women are great, whether strong or not strong. This guy is such a fool. He's constantly on television being critical, and only for the reason that I tuned him out completely while president, because he called incessantly I told him very pointedly, look, Mark, I got a lot of things to do. I just can't be taking so many pointless calls from you. In any event, that affected him greatly because he's a very insecure guy and a major loser. A major loser. Always has been, always will be. Nobody likes him. Nobody respects him. And he's unattractive both inside and out. He should go back and talk about the person he was forced to support because I didn't want it. Lion Kamala Harris. Also, he's got no clubhead speed. I don't... He's got no clubhead. He's talking golf. Also, terrible clubhead speed. No clubhead speed at all. It's an embarrassment. I may, in fact, be surrounded by the strongest women in the world, including heads of countries who make Mark look like a baby. All strong women and women in general should be very angry about this weak man's statement. He's so good. Oh my God. How do you not love this man? How does anyone not love him? Get a CADL, you are automatically registered. I'll get a California driver's license, you're automatically registered to vote. Yeah. Lots of changes needed there. Lots of changes. All right. I have a lot of funny videos also. I have a lot of funny videos. It's already 12:40 though. I've been here too long. I have a local show now, goodlogic.locals.com. It's pinned in the comments below. I have a whole bunch of comedy things I need to do with you. Whole bunch of comedy. I've got so much I need to do with you. It's going to take me like 2 hours. I'm going to be spending like 2 hours on locals. I know it's not going to be like a half-hour deal. I've got a whole bunch of comedy links I want to share with you. I've got Trump versus CBS, and I also want to explain the whole history of Jews and socialism and how that ties into perspectives on the Holocaust. So I got a lot of homework to do, and I'm due over there. It's very, very late. I was supposed to be there ages ago, and I feel guilty. I haven't even checked over in locals to see if I've done my check my live chat over here in locals. There are tips over in locals also. Why is this not working? San Glenn says, howdy, Joe. Couldn't get Rumble take my cash, lol. Don't bother hunting it. Okay. Johnny Rep says, Kamala Harris was down with democracy when she went down on down. Willie Brown, baddest man in the whole damn town. Pinochet's helicopter tourist says, explains all the hits on Social Security numbers on the Help America Vote Act site, where 260,000 people in Missouri in 1 month tried to use Social Security numbers to register to vote. Okay. All right. All right. I gotta get out of here. I think it's late. I feel like I'm very, very late. I'm supposed to be over on locals. I'm gonna head on over there now. I'm gonna wrap up my show. So right now we're going over to locals for a locals after show. I got a whole bunch of funny links here that I haven't even begun to share with you guys. A whole bunch of things that you're gonna laugh at. I got songs. I've got crazy women. I've got white dudes for Harris. I got so much stuff. White dudes. All right, this one I'm going to share here. If you want more like this, white dudes for Harris. White dudes for Harris. If you want more clips like this, you're going to have to come on over to locals.
I am straight. I'm
gay. I'm not gay. I'm straight. And I like women and women only. There's nothing wrong with being gay, but I'm not. I'm not. Okay?
Wow. Wow. He's so stressed. He just needs to find himself a good man. He'll feel better. He'll feel way better. All right. That's my show, and I'm sticking to it. I got to get on out of here. I thank you all for joining me. I'll catch you all over on Locals right now in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes. Goodlogic.locals.com. Goodlogic.locals.com. Link is pinned in the chat. Link is in the description. Go head on over there. I'm going to be there in 10 minutes. Till then, take care of yourselves. Don't touch no lab meat because it's feces. And, of course, do not eat the bugs. Don't eat the bugs. Good night, and see you over there. Locals. Gold Speed.